CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. Thanks for tuning in. We got a long overdue episode with Bryan Bieschke. You remember Bryan. He's with UpKeep. He's the head of community and partnerships, and he just came off of, a couple weeks ago now, IMTS. And huge show. A lot of people saw me posting and toasting, I like to call it, while everybody was there. We got an interview with one of his colleagues from the booth. Wanted to get him on. He was just getting piled on by people, asking questions, talking about CMMS, maintenance management, of course, manufacturing, all that stuff. So, Bryan, welcome back to CMMS Radio.
Thanks, Greg. Happy to be here, man. Yeah, we've been fooling around trying to get this rolling from IMTS, but as always, you're 4 hours difference than me, and I got little children I've got to participate with at the end of the day. So
there's my four-legged little child right there. That's what I'm talking about. I hope he doesn't interrupt us. But
my two non-human ones are right here too, and I'm just waiting for someone to walk by my window so they can just start barking while we're trying to talk.
So one of the things you and I were talking about, and I wanted to get this on an episode, is what was the common stuff that you were seeing and hearing, both from people visiting the booth or people that you're out and about? What are the kinds of things you were seeing there around CMMS and maintenance management?
So first, not much, right? That IMTS is huge for the technology manufacturing, milling, and lifts and robotics and tooling and all that stuff. There was a handful of that I saw. Granted, I did not walk there was 4 quadrants, right? I did not walk every single one. But there was a handful of computerized maintenance management or work management or shop software companies that I saw. And I talked to probably 1,000 people in 4 days. I wasn't there the whole time. I was only there for 4 days because I had to go and speak at another conference the following week. So I needed some home time between the two of them. But I probably spoke to 1,000 people, and the common thread is, like it always is, we don't know what we have. We have aging things that we need to maintain. We don't know whether we should be replacing things or maintaining things. And, there was a lot of job shop guys, some bigger manufacturers, but a lot of job shop, machine shops, guys, 1-2 guys. And yeah, it's either they're doing everything themselves, or if they have an issue, they contract it out. All of those scenarios play well into UpKeep CMMS, right? Because we have contractor management through our CMMS. We have replacement asset value and life cycling and warranty and all those things to make good decisions. So we had a lot of awesome conversations. We had a pretty big team there, as you know. You talked to John, and Amissa was there, and Victoria and Henry and Taylor. So big team, lots and lots. I mean, we generated so much pipeline out of that conference. It's just stupid. So, everything went really well, but a lot of conversations surrounding not knowing what you have from a maintenance and machine capability perspective, and what is the most economical way to maintain the things that we do have.
So building on that, one thing you and I were discussing, kind of offline, or when we find a few minutes to chat on the phone, that a lot of times at a conference like that, I think it's common at a lot of the conferences, but at a conference like that with so many people, you would kind of expect there's going to be at least a percentage of them that really know what CMMS is. And I think what you were telling me, and we've talked about this at other conferences as well, is there's still people in the industry that don't even know what computerized maintenance management software is.
Yes.
But then when you enter that conversation, you start talking more about the maintenance management, they start to get it. It's almost like it's a head scratcher with how long CMMS has been around, how popular it is, that so many people still don't know what it is or even where to start. Is that something?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to use a quote from my friend, Jim Van Tighem. in these scenarios, we have to connect a known to an unknown, or an unknown to a known, right? In jobber shops and small machine shops, they're looking at like a shop management software. It's a CMMS. They just don't know the term, right?
Mm.
Essentially, it's work management. When you're talking to field service companies and things like that, they're using service software, service writing software. You talk to manufacturers, they call it CMMS. So there's all these different names for relatively the same thing. And once you start talking to these people, they quickly understand what you're saying. They just don't know the name, right? So I will like to say, hey, what do you use to manage your shop? What do you use to manage the resources in your shop? Maybe manpower, maybe work, job plans, whatever. And they'll start telling me, and then I'll say, oh, cool. What do you use that with, right? What is the application? And they'll say, oh, we don't have anything, or we have some random shop software that lets them, keep track of basic things in their shop. So.
Yeah. And we see a lot of that. I talk about it on the podcast. You and I have talked about it where, CMMS, EAM, ERP, everything in the middle. Oh, we have a work order management system. Well, I think all of it's maintenance management in some way, shape, or form, unless there's a few things missing. So I want to, when you were going around and seeing what everybody was doing, at least in the CMMS realm, were you seeing anything that was concerning to you, like as far as knowledge, the people that are like repping these things? Were there any concerns there? Because you had told me a little something about that.
Oh yeah, we have people come to our booth all the time and say that they spoke to several other CMMS providers at the conference, and they told them this, they told them that, 30% reduction in downtime, 50% reduction in cost. It's like, okay, where are you getting all that number, those things? I don't understand that. We're not, when customers talk to us, we're not making promises. We're trying to make a fit. We want to understand a fit between your needs and our resources, right? If those two things don't align, then we're happy to part ways, right? I mean, this isn't where we're a drug dealer and I'm just trying to get as many things as I possibly can, right? Because at the end of the day, we know that a sound investigation into the needs and the resources that we have to provide for those needs we know we're going to get a long-term relationship. We know we're going to get a lasting outcome that makes sense. It's easy. We could sell software to everybody, but at the end of the day, people would be underutilized, overutilizing, not understanding. And the push is going to be, well, your software doesn't work. It's like, well, that's not true, because we know that's 99% of the time that's not the case. It's understanding, education, and application of the system within your organization. I mean, I walked around, I saw other CMMS providers. I mean, it's funny. A lot of them are using like sales tactics to pull people into the booth, like giving away money or soda or coffee. It's like anything they can to get somebody in the booth so that they can have a combo, when we don't offer any of those things. We get out there and we talk to every person that walks by, and we have honest, candid conversations about the reality of what our application can do. We don't need to have a drawing to bring you into the booth, like, oh, chance to win $1,000 if you sign up for a demo. It's like, what?
That's and we all know, like, as fun as that can be, it's a vanity metrics chase. And
of course,
look, hey, do what you do if you're out there seeing
whatever.
those companies. But this concept of quality over quantity,
Sure.
substance, and being able to look for that fit. Everybody, I'll be the guy. Yeah, I'm righteous. Oh yeah, it's got to be right. Otherwise you're doing it wrong. I don't know if I'm right about that, but I try to kind of stay in that lane because I want long-term relationships. And you and I have talked about this for well over a year. I mean, it might be close to 2 years now, where we absolutely agree. It doesn't matter what your CMMS is. It matters if you know what you have, if you know how to use it, and if you don't, if someone's going to help you with that, whether it's internal or external, and it kind of comes down to that. So I like that you guys are really focused on that part of it, finding the fit, as opposed to, BANT qualifying and all this kind of stuff. And again, with everybody out there, if this rubs you the wrong way, that's okay. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant to wake you up and say, hey, you could do better. And if you choose not to, that's on you. That's not on anybody else. Now, I want to switch away from IMTS because I'm going to get this episode out quick. And I know that next week, you and the team at UpKeep, along with a ton of our friends, like bona fide experts, real pros, we're talking Reliability X and on and on and on. JD Solomon's going to be there.
Howard Penrose.
Howard's going to be there. Motor Doc himself.
Compass Consulting.
Yep.
I mean,
People in Processes is going to be there. Just a ton of people that we know. So you're heading to SMRP. That's in Orlando, October 7th through October 10th. And one thing I have to make sure is in here is George is doing, they're doing a workshop on Monday where they're going to do a big reveal on a new framework. So I want anybody that hears this, if you still have that time available, whatever you've got scheduled, cancel that, go to the workshop with George, because you're going to see and hear and learn about something in an 8-hour workshop that will make an impact. And if you do that, when you're all done, hit me up on LinkedIn so we can talk about it, because I want to hear about it. But tell me about you and UpKeep, and you're heading over there to SMRP. Talk to me.
Yeah. So first, I just want to reiterate, Reliability X's team is, in my opinion, second to none. And take that for what it is. But, Joe and George and Paul and Ramesh over there, that's just an A team, right? So yeah, definitely check out everything they have to offer. They're absolute pros. So yeah, I'll be there on Monday, getting in there or late morning on Monday. We'll have a booth. I think our booth, I don't want to say our booth number because we just went over it and I already
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's like 50 something. But yeah, we'll be there talking it up, talking shop, talking to everybody. Like you said, we're going to know a whole bunch of people there. If you want to learn about CMMS, you want to, talk some real stuff about how these things actually function within your organization, and a team that can actually speak to what you have going on, we would love to have a conversation with you. We're not going to throw buzzwords at you. We're not going to tell you that we can reduce your overall downtime by 1 billion% and save you $1 trillion by getting our CMMS. So yeah, I mean, we would love to have it. We've got tons of stuff going on. We've got dinners planned. I mean, I'm trying to see some sessions if I can sneak away. I've got a lot of people from our booth, like our new product manager, Nicole, is going to be there. We're going to try to get her in all the sessions, so she can listen to guys like George and like Howard and, and really hear the good stuff, the gospel, right? That's being put out and not the noise. And so yeah, I'll be there, man. We'll be just crushing it, talking shop.
Yeah. And just real quick on that as a closing kind of moment, when you get this exposure to these real practitioners and experts that have been in the trenches, as I like to say it, and they're giving you the color that is hidden within what you're representing when you're providing CMMS, the UpKeep solution, so that you can really connect the dots and actually know something. And then at the same time, as you form relationships with these individuals, some of which are already UpKeep ambassadors, which is important, that they become available to help out and say, well, does this mean that, or does that mean this? And why does that matter? And that's actually what it boils down to. Why does it matter? Does it make an impact? And how do we keep people moving and get all that throughput? If you're doing a reliability play, that's all about availability. That's critically important. So Bryan, I know you're really busy heading up to the lead up, getting ready to go to the show. You got other things you're working on. Thank you for once again being on CMMS Radio.
Thank you very much. And think of it like this. One last thing. CMMS and maintenance is like looking at a beach. You look at a beach from a distance, it all looks the same color, right? You get up and you dig your hand into that sand and you look at it. There's thousands of colors in your hand, right? Mm-hmm. So the people that we're talking about and the value that we want to create is in that hand. It's not over here looking at the beach because we don't know what we're looking at.
I like it.
Thank you, Greg.
You got it, brother. Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit cmmsradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.